So, good morning. I'm going to present you my book, which was published by Springer Nature in 2023. It is about clinical psychology and cognitive behavioral psychotherapy under the recovery perspective. Um I want to thank Once Upon a Time Springer Nature for this wonderful cooperation and especially Dr. Silvana Freiberg. Springer Nature focuses the last year intensively on recovery and on books which cover this recovery perspective in mental health. And I think this is a major contribution of Springer Nature to the scientific community. So I'm going to share with you a PowerPoint so that the presentation can be more clearly. So this is the book. Um, We have part one. Part one focuses on evidence-based psychotherapy, stigma, and recovery. Uh, we begin with an introduction, and then we describe cognitive behavioral therapy and its further developments, such as metacognitive therapies and rehabilitation mental health. We explain stigma and how the stigma can be reduced, and we give the definitions of recovery. And then we go to the second part of the book, in which uh, disorders are presented: anxiety disorder, specific phobia, social phobia, panic disorder, agoraphobia, generalized anxiety disorder. Part three, obsessive compulsive and related disorders, obsessive compulsive disorder, trichotillomania. Part four, trauma, PTSD. Part five, somatic disorders, somatic symptom disorder, and illness anxiety disorder. Part six, depressive disorders, major depressive disorders, and depressive disorder due to another medical condition. Part seven, bipolar and related disorders, bipolar 1 and 2 disorder. Part eight, schizophrenia and other psychotic disorders, schizophrenia and delusional disorder. And part nine, personality disorder. Well, I have chosen um, these disorders due to my clinical experience the last 20 years in my private practice. I have worked many, many hours with these disorders, and I want to thank all the clients who participated on individual and group psychotherapies. Because without their contribution, it will not be, I will not be able to publish this book. Um, a second reason I have chosen this disorders is the fact that these disorders are very frequent, and they are associated with high vulnerability, social isolation, suicidal risks, and many, many negative consequences of their regarding functional outcome and cognitive functions. Personality disorders is a main issue for cognitive behavioral psychotherapy. Personality disorders are the disorders who uh, cause the main problems in the interaction between people and in the interpersonal relationships. So it is very, very important to talk about them, and we're very proud of our mentor, Dr. Aaron Beck, and colleagues who published many, many, many books for the majority of the mental health disorders the last years. And Dr. Aaron Beck has proved that cognitive behavioral psychotherapy is not only focusing on short-term disorders such as a simple anxiety disorder, panic disorder, but cognitive behavioral psychotherapy can focus also on long-term disorders such as bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, psychotic disorders, personality disorders, trauma, obsessive compulsive disorders. So, I would like to thank Dr. Beck for his contribution to the scientific community. So the recovery perspective is a very important perspective in this book. We have recovery as an outcome or objective recovery. That means the result of the tests, self-test and clinician evaluation are the objective results as a result of the psychotherapy. That means we offer evidence-based psychometric evaluation regarding psychopathology, quality of life, and functional outcome. And we'll focus also on recovery as a process or subjective recovery, the point of view of the clients, the point of view of families of the clients, the enhancement of the responsibility towards their own problems, the active participation in their own problems, and the fact that they are protagonists of their own life are the main issues in the context of recovery as a process. This is a dynamic procedure, and this book focuses on both point of view, on objective and subjective recovery. And I propose that it is very important for every psychological disorder or mental health disorder to considerate objective and subjective recovery in order to evaluate the result of this psychotherapy. So this book focuses on evidence-based psychotherapy and rehabilitation. It is very important to combine evidence-based therapies in the context of cognitive behavioral therapy. For example, cognitive behavioral therapy, metacognitive therapies, or acceptance and commitment therapy, mindfulness, DBT, etc. And every combination should be evaluated under the perspective of recovery as an outcome before, after the therapy, and in follow-up, and recovery as a process before, after the therapy, and in a follow-up. So this is my book focuses on a dynamic context during the therapy, and it is a democratic context because the client understands what is going on, and this is a major advantage of cognitive behavioral psychotherapy. It gives a transparent result of how we begin and where do we go. And we explain with every detail, the diagnosis of the client, how the problem was born, which factors contributed to the fact that the problem is still there, and what can we do to solve the problem. So my book focuses on a modern perspective of cognitive behavioral psychotherapy. It is written for colleagues, psychologists, psychiatrists, students in psychology and medicine, or psychotherapists in training. And it focuses on change, on recovery. I think this is very, very important. It is very important to have strategies to accept a very difficult situation and to be relaxed with this difficult situation. But it is very, very important to change the main point of view regarding various situations in life. So I think the recovery perspective is the end goal of every psychotherapy. And when somebody wants to begin with with psychotherapy or cognitive behavioral psychotherapy, this therapy should contain the recovery perspective. Without recovery, we cannot guarantee that the person can make a restart or can make a reintegration into the society. So that was a simple presentation of my book. Well, doing psychotherapies for over 20 years is a very interesting experience. Every person that I have met is a unique person, and I admire all the people who try to change themselves, who try new strategies in their own life. Well, life is not easy. We are confronted with very beautiful moments, but also with very difficult moments. The mainstream or the main goal of our life is to be able to cope, to accept and to celebrate the positive moments, but also to learn to cope with difficult moments. You must not feel ashamed. You must not feel bad when you're not able to cope with a difficult situation. And that's the main difference between people and robots. We are living in 2025, and we're talking about ChatGPT. So I cannot think ChatGPT can replace the psychotherapeutic relationship and alliance. This human interaction between an expert and a client. Well, many billionaires want to do that so that people are not obliged to pay for their psychotherapy. They will build big companies with robots who offer psychotherapy. So we can imagine that this is a project of many billionaires, but the answer to these billionaires is that ChatGPT can cause more problems as they present, can lead to suicidal behavior, and can be destructive. So you have, when you decide to start a psychotherapy, then you have to uh, think about these issues. Don't use ChatGPT for your mental health problems. It is very dangerous. A psychotherapy is not only a strategy to change something. A psychotherapy is a human interaction. A psychotherapy is something that focus on the dignity of human life. Dignity cannot be protected from ChatGPT. So, as a clinical psychologist and cognitive behavioral psychotherapist, I'm very, uh, I'm not so optimistic regarding this technology. So, uh, I will uh, introduce you to the journey of psychotherapy through my book, and when you read it, and then you can decide what is worth in this life: the people, the human interaction, or an interaction with a robot. So I wish you all the best and take care.